Let's go!
Well, I think we've made great progress.
LSU fans, we have got a spring scrimmage to break down, and this first play is a perfect example why you can't just take too much away from a scrimmage, because this play is really, really, really good offense, right? You don't want to get too carried away because overall, offensively, it wasn't that great of a day. So you could see that defensively, they bring a blitz off the edge from one of the inside backers. That looks like West Weeks. So Garrett gets really good pass protection here. And this honestly is an easy read. He sees man-to-man coverage, single high safety. If it's man-to-man, every single time we want to throw the football to Aaron Anderson on a slant. Bang! In an actual game, Aaron Anderson breaks that tackle and scores big. Okay, so this is going to be the big question. Can LSU run the football next year? This is a play where this defensive line just absolutely mauls this offensive line. You can see they're trying to run some variation of counter GY to the left side, and it just gets stuffed. It's kind of hard to see, but basically, Cliff Notes, defensive line just whipping the offensive line on that rep. It looks like that's Relaford alongside Jack Pyburn on the other end. Up the middle, that's Ahmad Bro and Dominic McKinley. Defensively, you have Osbury at one of these corners. I think this is Keys and Weeks. Opposite corner, Mansour Delane. This is Ashton Stamps. And then Tamarcus Cooley, and the other safety, I think, is JV and Toviano. Okay, so let's run this play here out into the flats. And, yeah, this is just not that great. Once again, you're not going at full speed. This isn't the best block in the world right here by Chris Hilton and Trades Green. You go back to our best receivers of the Brian Kelly era. Who is it? Well, it's very clearly Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. Both of them were very, very, very good blockers. Okay. This is just not good from Garrett Nussmeier. This shot is there. Now, I try my best to learn as much as I possibly can about the quarterback position. It's a very complicated position, as many of you know. And there is a difference overthrowing a pure go ball and a stop and go. All right? So what you'll see here is, once again, this is really, really, really good pickup by Caleb Jackson. He was LSU's best pass protector when he actually played. So you pick up the blitz. So good protection. This should be a completion every single time, but Garrett just misfires because it is a stop and go. So you can see that Xavier Thomas stops. You get a little pump. Corner bites. And now Xavier, if he's even, he's leaving. He's even now while Garrett is throwing this ball. And yes, you do sympathize because on the stop and go, the timing of this can be off because you don't know how hard the receiver is going to sell the stop. But where it's inexcusable, this miss, is it can't be thrown out of bounds. If you're going to throw it anywhere, throw it closer to the number to give the receiver a chance. And as you can see, the ball was tossed out of bounds. So maybe a Nick Anderson or a Barian Brown makes that catch. I don't know, but it wasn't a good throw from Garrett. Okay, now we finally get a good run rep, and this is just simple stuff. LSU really struggled with this. You can see this is a very light box. One of our linebackers, Keys, is pretty much outside this offensive tackle, so we need to be able to run on it. And oh boy, actually I take that back. Jack Pyburn absolutely positively dominates Weston Davis here, okay? You'll see that Pyburn, we'll slow it down and make it a little bit easier. Pyburn is able to beat Weston Davis to the inside right here. So once this happens, all right, this needs to be a bounce read right here from the running back, because if you bounce here, you're getting a pretty nice gain. But still, Weston Davis can't let this guy get to the inside of him. And if he does get to the inside of you through that B gap, we need you to get a bigger piece and just wash him down to help a potential bounce. But you could see that Pyburn is right there to make the tackle, and of course they're not bringing guys down. So it's poor run blocking and just a really good play right there from. So this is why you bring in Mansour Delane. He has seen everything, and this play was basically made by him. All right, this is a play that Lane Kiffin has run probably more so than any other SEC team. So what this is it is a fake pitch into the boundary, and the target is the tight end running the wheel. So you're running a vertical here from your slot, which is Chris Hilton. You're running a vertical here. Actually, that's not Hilton. I think that's Xavion and Aaron. So you're running vertical here, and it's actually the wheel that you're trying to hit up the sideline. All right? But watch what actually happens. Delane sees what's actually happening. So he has his eyes on the quarterback, and you'll see that he actually lets the vertical he's responsible for to run freely into the end zone, and you can see how he turns and peels to where the ball is actually being thrown, and, well, Bauer Sharp makes a business decision and decides to not make the catch. Now, once again, I saw a better angle of it. This ball wasn't perfectly thrown either. This is going to be open versus corners who aren't as good or as savvy or experienced as Mansour Delane. But, man, this is why I got Bauer Sharp. I mean, it's a tight end that runs in that 4.5, 4.6 range. And, man, it's still, I don't know. It's a miss, basically. All right, really good rep here. RPO stuff, we want to take advantage of this 2-on-1. That's not bad blocking from Xavion Thomas, but it gets stopped pretty quickly. We're going to talk about two different things about this completion, okay? Or incompletion, if you will. So you'll see a bad overthrow right here from Garrett Nussmeier, okay? So the first thing here is this is really good quarterbacking by Garrett. So he starts off looking left, and you could see he decides to not throw it. This is the same exact coverage he threw that interception, or a same coverage principle he threw that interception versus South Carolina that should have ended the game. So Gabriel Relaford is dropping back into coverage, and Garrett obviously needs to get off of that and work to the backside. Okay, so once he gets off of that, he has good protection here, and then he finds Aaron Anderson streaking through the middle of this defense. So Tamarcus Cooley, once again, learning the new defense, learning a new position. Last year at NC State, he played where Osbury was. Now he's playing more of a safety, and here LSU is in single high. Joel Rogers, who I think is a safety here, he's pulled over by Garrett looking to the left, and now Garrett is working back to the right. Good, compact delivery. It's just a misfire. Now, why did he misfire? Well, you'll see that Jack Pyburn eventually broke through Weston Davis, but that probably shouldn't have affected this throw. And Garrett just misses Aaron Anderson for a walk-in touchdown. Now, this is kind of twofold here, because if Nick Anderson doesn't work out at LSU, and right now he's working mostly with backups, number 4, this is a small LSU wide receiver room. Now we get to the Michael Van Buren reps, and here we go. Kyle Parker here is hit. That's really good quarterbacking. It helped it was your first read, but you get Kyle Parker there to get this drive going. Kyle, even though he's been wearing that red non-contact jersey coming off that injury, he's had some good moments this spring. Now we get to a run rep here. Okay, so you do have a very thin linebacker room. So you have some walk-ons mixed in this linebacker core right here. We're trying to run counter to the left side. And this, honestly, is not blocked poorly at all. This walk-on right here, 50, actually has a really good run fill. Bang. Also, you take a look at the double team right up the middle here on Sean Washington. That's actually really, 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 really good stuff. Yes, I love to see it. And we get a decent run right there from Harlem Berry. So this next play hammers home a point that we have made time in and time out. Patrick Payton is the best defensive end I have ever seen when it comes to batting down passes at the line of scrimmage. So he doesn't actually bat this one down, but you could see that he gets off the block of the transfer Thompson from Northwestern, and look at how early he's jumping. He immediately feels out that this is a little swing pass to Harlan Berry, and look, he's jumping basically before the ball was thrown, and even though he doesn't actually tip it, that ball is thrown so high that Harlan Berry has to reach for it, and he drops it, okay? That would have been a nice gain, or a potentially nice gain, but that's what a big-time player like Patrick Payton could do for your defense, all right? Another thing about the second unit, you do see DJ Pickett in here. I think Tylen Singleton's mixed in here somewhere. Oh, yes. This is good, sexy tackle football. Let's start with the protection here. It's really good. This is really special pass protection. So as much as I like Patrick Payton as a guy that's going to be wiry and make plays, think Barkevious Mingo. As far as a rusher is concerned, he doesn't have the absolute best bend in the world. That's a good rep right here by Thompson to just ride him all the way up field. Really good pocket, okay? And good pockets help out a lot more when you have an experienced and shorter quarterback in Michael Van Buren, okay? So they're trying to hit something deep here. He does a little pump fake. Nothing's open. Hit your check down to Harlan Berry. I mean, out of anybody that's on the field right now offensively, there's not anyone else you want with the football in his hands more than number 22, and he jukes that walk-on linebacker out of his jockstrap. I mean, it's just really good quarterbacking. So, look, simple football, right? Not a deep pass, but it's still an explosive gain. You'll love to see it, all right? Let's see what happens here. Okay, so this is going to be new here. All right. It's just kind of tough to see from, where I'm looking. And, Barry, I think, just kind of runs directly into it. Here, it looks like there was a little bounce lane, but you could see he just sticks his head down and goes directly into it. That's normal for a true freshman running back. It is so hard. I mean, the game moves so fast for you to learn how to, when to bounce, when to find a hole. Also, it's really tough for me to see from here, but there we go. God bless. This is excellent stuff from Van Buren. It really, really, really is. Once again, lots of backups out there. I'm not going to say that anymore because, it's a spring game. So the safety here, Deshaun Spears, is lining up where there is a blitzer. So Michael Van Buren sees that this is single high, and then he also knows that while this isn't open, the deep dig is replacing where the safety was who had to step up and guard someone right here in the flat. Bang. Okay? That's just, honestly, this is really good quarterbacking. It's not anything like revolutionary, if you will, but it's honestly just good stuff. He's seeing things well. Final Van Buren rep. This is actually not bad. You could see here, this is Nick Anderson going up against DJ Pickett. So a year 4 guy going up against a year 1 guy, and both of these guys are 6'3", 6'4". So you have two borderline D1 basketball type athletes out here, and it ended up being incomplete. I know it's tough to see from this angle. Move to Garrett Nussmeier being backed up. This is just good football. Garrett sees that this corner is off and that the box is heavy-ish, so he's going to throw this football out to Chris Hilton to give his team some breathing room. That's just good offense. All right, so LSU, because they're working on different things in the scrimmage, they're still backed up, and we get this rep right here. God, this is just good football. It really, really, really is. It's tough for me to see who the actual receiver is over here. But once again, throughout this spring, LSU defensively didn't do anything too sexy up front. They played a lot of, basic cover 3. So you just want to play pitch and catch football. Garrett does exactly that. Deep comeback. And there you go. I can't see who that receiver is right there. I think that's Buren Brown. And yeah, it's a good play right here by Ahmad Bro, just sitting heavy. This play is just stuffed. I mean, we're not getting any movement at all up the middle. This is just a plodding amount of yards, about 2 or 3 right there from Caleb Jackson. So that is going to be the story. Can we avoid a run game that's just plod 2 yards here, another 3 yards here? It's just, I don't know. I really, really, really don't know. I mean, there's so many different levels to that, okay? Let's see here. Now you're in a 2-by-2 formation. And it's just stuffed. I mean, I have a few thoughts about some of our formational diversity, and we'll talk about it more throughout this offseason. But, man, our spring game, based on what we saw in the spring, just this little spring scrimmage here, was not great per se. Our overall blocking on the perimeter, once again, it is just a spring game. Not everyone is pedaling to the metal, if you will. But the blocking on the outside left a lot to be desired. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Few things about this. So, with this pre-snap motion, you notice the nickel here, Osbury, goes into the box. Okay, so once that happens and this DB is in the box, Garrett knows that Aaron Anderson has a favorable matchup versus a safety right here. Okay, so once it gets to here, Garrett needs to let this ball go. All right, you can see that LSU, like we have seen up to this point, they had been playing a lot of cover 3, corner here, deep safety middle, corner here, and that ball's got to be ripped. You could see he's thinking about throwing it, and then he decides to eat it. The pocket was good. Now, this is also a positive side as well, because as many of you know, my harshest criticism of Garrett last year was him never running when he was given bad pass rush lane integrity to run through. So that's actually a positive sign, but that ball should have been ripped to Aaron. We got a rollout here with Michael Van Buren back in at quarterback, and this is still Jack Pyburn. I'll slow it down for you. This is not an easy play. So this is a rollout to the right side, and you could see, once again, it's hard to see, but you could see Pyburn is beat to the edge just a little bit here. But watch him continue to fight through this block and get around this block that's trying to hook him to the inside, and that forces a quick throw here. This could have been thrown to Buren Brown, it looks like right here. It's a dangerous-ish throw, but instead this actually ends up being a safety-ish. This ball needs to be thrown in some capacity. All right, we get another run up the middle. Sean Washington versus doubles. It's been tough throughout the spring. Here he is. I mean, he got beat on a double earlier. God, this is really good blocking here from the left guard. Once again, it's kind of hard for me to see numbers from there. Red zone portion of the scrimmage. So, Joe Sloan, in his interview, I highly recommend you go back because you rarely get coordinator media availability. He really emphasized the importance of being better in the red zone. And this is just really, really, really good and creative stuff. So you have Caleb Jackson to the outside. You get him with some momentum right here, and then you snap the football right when he gets there. So he has a little bit of a head of steam. And we are just getting really good blocks. That's a good double right here from the right side of the offensive line. This is Weston Davis, who had some really poor moments in the scrimmage. This is not one of them. I mean, that is excellent. You can't do it that much better than that, and that gives Caleb Jackson a wide open hole in the red zone to run through, okay? Now, let's talk about this block right here from Trey'Dez Green, and this is going to be the next evolution of his game, actually playing tight end, all right? Here he's going up against Jack Pyburn. This is a tough matchup. That's actually not bad. In theory, for me, once again, it's coached differently. You want this helmet to be on this side of his shoulder pad. So to the left of this helmet, he actually takes it on a little square, but it's still good. I mean, we'll take it all day, every day. Okay, so Trey'Dez out. You bring in Bauer Sharp, Nick Anderson, and a few other backup receivers are in here. And, oh, yeah, this is just sexy stuff. So split zone the tight end. We do a lot of this. But what actually happens here, it's a fake to Caleb Jackson, and everyone's thinking that this is just a quick little split zone with our wide receivers blocking, but it's not. So everyone's trying to run over here to Bauer Sharp right here, but it's actually a throwback to Caleb Jackson, who you initially play action fake to. It's a lot to see, but it was very, very, very good stuff. Now, this is going to be the single most important thing and story to me of this offensive offseason. Transfer portal center, Braylon Moore. Transfer portal tackle/guard, Josh Thompson. Neither working with the first units. Will that eventually change? So here they are with the first unit LSU offense. And out comes DJ Chester and Paul Mabenga, who neither really played that well. Now, they're both young players, but still. Now, you bring in a new center, you bring in a new guard. Now you have Jawan Johnson in at Wildcat quarterback, and guess what? He bounces and finds a way to score. This is a really, really, really good run right here from Johnson, too. So you could see that there is nothing up the middle, and he decides to bounce. That's a good read. That's a good block by 71 on the edge right there, and you're able to score. That's good stuff. We just talked about Weston Davis and his overall tough day. This is a absolutely positively brutal rep versus Jack Pyburn. And the reason why I'm emphasizing this is when you run these kind of rollouts and you get beat really, really, really badly, that can lead to huge losses, right? If you struggle to just run the football under center or anything like that, and you get in the shotgun and you do these kind of rollouts, if it gets blown up really quickly, it could lead to red zone interceptions or sacks, which, of course, first and goal from the 2, or should I say second and goal from the 2 isn't bad, but second and goal from the 8 is an absolute disaster. So watch, just a kind of lollygag rep, and you'll see that Jack Pyburn is able to break through not only Weston Davis, but Caleb Jackson. Now, in Caleb's defense, there's no way pre-snap that he thought Weston Davis was going to get beat this bad, because he's got to be responsible for anything flying off the edge here. So Caleb could have done a better job to help out Garrett and Weston on this, but Pyburn is just right there, and this is a good job by Garrett just throwing this thing away. And honestly, this ended up not being a throwaway. This throw, all things considered, was thrown to where only his guy could get it, okay? So you're running basically an out and a corner attached to it, and you'll see that Mansour Delane, the corner, is able to play the out and then also play this deep corner route. And Garrett, look at where this ball actually ends up being placed. That is not bad, all things considered. You see, only his receiver could get his hands to it, but, man, it's just not good offense. Okay, as many of you know, the New England Patriots in the Brady era. By the way, you can go to Power Hour NFL. If you're a Tom Brady fan, I'm going to break it down all the Super Bowls. And you see Bo Bordelon is brought in as the extra offensive lineman. This is a role that he played. So he's essentially a tight end. You have Trades here, and then you have Barra Sharp on the pre-snap motion here. And you'll see that Bordelon actually goes out on a route. You also have Trades Green going out on a route. And then you have Barra Sharp. So obviously this is a big coverage bust. More often than not, this is going to be defended by, a semi-smart defense, okay? You have a lot of edge pressure, and you have an easy pitch and catch. This was also open to the tight ends to the backside here. So Trades Green, and I think that might be Donovan Green right there. So really good. So now we get to the second team offense. And remember that Caleb Jackson run you saw just a minute ago? Well, let's talk about the tight end. So we talked about Trades Green a minute ago, how important it is when you're coming across. If we're trying to run a trap to the inside, we got to make sure that this end gets kicked out this way. We're trying to run to the left of your butt pad. But watch what actually happens here. He gets a little too square, and this defender is able to get to the inside, and he's holding him, right? That could get called sometimes. It's let go, but that's why you got to make sure you get to the inside of this player, all right? This is really good stuff. So this is Bo Bordelon here with the critical block, and you get a really good double from the right tackle. That's excellent, excellent stuff. It's hard for me to see who the DT was here. And this, honestly, is a really strong finish by Harlan Berry. You do see him get scooped pretty badly here, okay? He's tiny. He's not a big guy, so he's going to take some hits like that, but he did indeed score. Now, one more thing about this play that makes Michael Van Buren a little bit more tantalizing in this spot than potentially Garrett is that Van Buren does have a little bit more juice in the run game. So right here, this is a smart handoff. This guy is just too far to the outside, even though he does crash pretty hard. Okay, a pull is probably still scoring this right here if you want to include a pull read in on the design of this play. So we get into empty here. Really, this honestly is just really good stuff from Michael Van Buren. You get a good block on the edge right here from Barra Sharp. Good, quick, compact. Get the football out into space, and you're able to score. I think that was Barry and Brown right there. All right, lots of backup receivers in here. You get a blitz firing in from the left side. Lucky enough, it's a pull rollout here to the right. And Van Buren sees a space, and he just runs right through it. Even if you could tackle him, you're not there, and it's a good score. Okay, we get to this. We'll just slow-mo rep this. I don't know. And once again, a lot of guys are being worked in and worked out. I don't quite understand these route combinations. Let's start off from right to left. You have just a guy just stopping and just, it's just not good, especially if you want to attach, a deep corner with this. So now this corner could play both him and this corner out right here, okay? But either way, the whole design of this play is to be worked to the left. So you have a running back here, tight end here, Nick Anderson here. And the goal of this is to create traffic for Nick Anderson to stop right here, and you throw a touchdown, and you get exactly what you want, okay? Donovan Green screens this overhang right here, and bang, this ball should be thrown to Nick Anderson right here. But you see, he slips, and I don't know why Nick decided to go this way. I would have preferred him just to stop. There's so many touchdowns thrown right at the beginning of, the goal line right there. So Van Buren kind of gets spooked by it. He also can't throw this to Donovan Green with this guy being right there. So Van Buren decides to roll out and eventually just decides to run out of bounds, and the play just gets blown dead. We get to the Jawan Johnson reps. We'll save the spiciest for last, and there won't be a whole lot of breakdowns here. because, well, Colin Hurley's back in the fold, so that will change things. It's obviously some good news because that was a surprise for a lot of LSU fans. But I'll also, while these Juwan Johnson reps play in the background, give you a few thoughts. Now, I've already posted my grades on Patreon. Patreon.com/LSU Football is where you could find them. And by the way, if you sign up in a few weeks, we're giving away a Jamar Chase autograph uniform. So sign up now. There you go. The first thing, this spring game was a home run in terms of fan experience. So there weren't as many fans that attended, but they were able to sign autographs. I really, really loved that they brought that back because so many fans are priced out of autograph signings, just games in and of itself. This was also the first time for a lot of fans to even step foot on the Tiger Stadium hallowed grass. So I really, really, really enjoyed that LSU did that. Now, this happened, obviously, after rest in peace Kyron Lacey. That kind of, casts a dark cloud on an overall bright weekend for LSU fans. And we'll talk more about that in our upcoming live stream. So if you're watching this on a premiere, we are looking forward to seeing you there. Now, if it is in your heart's desire, please drop a donation. I have a feeling one of you are getting ready to drop a $5 donation in the live chat. Am I concerned about this team? Yes and no. This was very stripped down. There wasn't a whole lot of exotic stuff even being done at all. It was a lot of the same middle of the field close coverage looks. So, there's only so much you could take away. And there's so many guys missing. Caden Durham was held out for the actual game here. I do, however, feel there are a few big glaring holes on this team, and it starts in the trenches. Man, offensive line, I just don't know what the plan is here. Hopefully another piece is added miraculously in the spring portal, but the way it's constructed now, I just don't see it. So for me, that is my biggest concern on this team. And then, of course, the secondary has me worried. But like we said, there's so many new pieces that'll be coming in, coming out, and so on, and so on, and so on. So let me know what you guys think. And we are about to crank up a live stream. So we'll see you over there in just a moment. Okay, special thanks once again to Zion Imaging and the Fast Draft Fantasy app. Please go use my promo code. It helps in a major way. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom! And tonight we are doing white chicken enchiladas, baby. Let's go.